Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating shift that's literally challenging decades of business tradition and replacing it with something infinitely faster and, honestly, fundamentally different. We are talking about the transition to the AI native C-suite. Right now, artificial intelligence is sparking this radical redesign of corporate strategy. We're moving away from that slow-moving, periodic planning we're all used to and stepping straight into an era of continuous, live intelligence. If you're an executive or a strategic leader, this isn't just some far-off future projection. This is an immediate rewrite of the operating model, and it's happening right now in real time. So let's get right into it. The 5-year plan? Yeah, it's officially dead. Now, we've heard people predict this for over a decade, right? But now, it is structurally true. Static planning fails because it dramatically misunderstands the environment we actually operate in today. If you look at this through the lens of Snowden-Sinafin framework, most strategy work actually happens in the complex domain, a place where cause and effect are really only clear in hindsight. A static 5-year plan dangerously treats complex, highly unpredictable business environments as if they were merely complicated problems that you can just analyze and execute against. Well, that model is officially broken. Modern strategy requires continuous probing and responding, not rigid, multi-year static plans. And that brings us to exactly why this shift is happening right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the death of static strategy, and exactly why these old plans fail. There is a stark, binary difference between the old way of doing things and the new way. In the traditional setup, the C-suite was designed for a world where human sensing and synthesis were, well, simply slow. Executives had to gather information, interpret it, debate it endlessly, prepare the board, and then, eventually, periodically turn it into a strategy artifact. But in an AI-native firm, that process doesn't just happen once a quarter. It happens constantly. Strategy becomes this live intelligence process of continuous, rapid probing. The old C-suite acted as slow information synthesizers. The new firm absolutely demands continuous, live intelligence.
And here's the exact reason why that speed matters so much. It all comes down to the compression of Boyd's OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. Boyd's core argument was that tempo is the ultimate competitive advantage. Whoever cycles through decisions faster forces their opponent to constantly react to a stale, outdated picture of reality. Think about it. If you're using static plans, you are stuck moving at a quarterly tempo. Meanwhile, your standard competitors might be running daily. But an AI-driven, agent-tick strategy, that collapses the whole cycle down to mere hours. If your strategy is just a quarterly artifact, your competitors are quite literally already inside your decision loop. So how do we actually achieve this hourly tempo? Let's transition to the engine that makes this unprecedented speed possible.
Section 2, the AI intelligence stack. This is all about how we sense, interpret, and decide.
The very first layer relies on environmental intelligence agents. Think of these as your always-on radar. These are AI systems running 24/7, providing continuous external sensing. They are constantly monitoring markets, competitors, regulatory shifts, tech changes, and capital flows, synthesizing massive amounts of structured and unstructured data all at once. They maintain a live strategic map. This is huge, guys, because it means the C-suite never has to wait around for a stale, backward-looking quarterly report ever again. The sensing is live and it's constant. Next up, we have synthetic customer intelligence. This takes a feedback loop that usually takes months and shrinks it down to a few hours. AI-native companies are building agents that actively simulate user personas. These agents stress test products and ideas before a real human customer ever even touches them. Just imagine knowing exactly how a new pricing model or product feature will be received before you ever launch it. Think about what that does to your business model. It drops the cost of learning what your customers actually want by a massive order of magnitude, completely changing the risk profile of any new venture.
Finally, rounding out the stack, we have strategic architecture agents. These agents consume all the signals generated by the environmental and customer intelligence we just talked about, and they use them to produce actual, probabilistic decisions. We are talking about generating scenario models, making capital allocation recommendations, and producing market entry or exit signals. The agents do all the heavy lifting of consuming the data and generating a probabilistic decision, putting it right in front of human leadership. This entirely frees up leaders to do what they actually do best, apply their judgment.
Which brings us to Section 3, the reborn C-suite. This is where we redefine leadership.
So you might be wondering, if AI is handling all the modeling, the environmental sensing, and the competitive analysis, what exactly do human executives do? Well, now, what's really interesting about this BCG AI radar data is that a whopping 72% of CEOs already see themselves as the primary AI decision maker. That is double the figure from just the previous year. This tells us loud and clear that integrating AI isn't just some IT modernization project led by the CIO anymore. No way. It is a massive, CEO-owned operating model rewrite. The people at the very top are having to completely redefine their daily existence.
And that redefinition, it really comes down to an existential choice. You have to shift from being a gatekeeper to a validator. Gatekeepers insist on approving every single decision. It's a bottleneck, and it scales linearly. Validators, on the other hand, set the constraints, audit the outcomes, and only intervene on the exceptions. Validation scales exponentially. If you get this distinction wrong, it's not just a minor design flaw in your management style, it is an existential threat to your entire company. Ultimately, the executive role undergoes this radical compression down to 3 deeply human functions. Number 1, holder of purpose. This means fiercely guarding the company's massive transformative purpose, that core why that AI absolutely cannot generate on its own. Number 2, narrator. Humans have to provide the values, the intent, the risk appetite, and the narrative coherence that anchor the firm. And number 3, validator. Approving, rejecting, or redirecting the agent's recommendations where accountability requires true human judgment. Your time shifts entirely from information synthesis over to pure judgment and capital allocation. Now, how do companies use this AI to continuously probe their own vulnerabilities before their competitors do?
Let's dive into our final section. Section 4, Disrupt Yourself First. We're going to look at the self-disruption probe.
I want you to consider this really profound question. Could a 3-person team, armed with agents, rebuild our highest margin business in 90 days? Let that sit for a second. If your environmental intelligence is truly running 24/7, this is the most important question it should continuously be asking. This isn't just some fun annual retreat exercise. This needs to be a permanent daily output. It represents the immediate, very real threat of agile AI-native competitors who are looking at your highest margins as their primary target.
So, here's exactly how you build a self-disruption probe to answer that question. Step 1, agents continuously run shadow simulations of AI-native competitors attacking your highest margin functions. Step 2, you set a threshold. For example, if the shadow model shows it can replicate your function with 50% fewer humans and at a 30% lower cost, boom, an alert fires. Step 3, that alert automatically triggers an edge deployment pipeline. You're essentially launching a rapid, automated internal venture to neutralize the threat. You are literally automating the identification of your own obsolescence so you can fix it before the market does.
I want to leave you all with this final, somewhat provocative thought. It's called the dabbling test. Take a look at your own calendar right now. Is less than 50% of your time shifted away from information processing and toward judgment, purpose, and capital allocation? Because if the answer is yes, if you are still spending the majority of your week just synthesizing information to create a strategy artifact, then you are failing the test. You aren't leading an AI-native firm. You are the bottleneck. The intelligence is out there, and it's moving at the speed of ours. The only question left is, are you ready to validate it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.